That was a good one.
Sweet.
Welcome back to the Corny Dads Podcast. Episode 2, baby.
Yo.
Let's go. Hell yeah.
Dude, I still can't get over, like, as soon as it starts, just it's so freaking awkward and weird, like,
You know, that is what it is.
It's part of it.
We got new lighting today for you guys. We zoomed in a little, and we're making improvements for episode 2. Hell yeah.
I think a little bit better each week, you know.
Uh-huh. You know, gotta improve.
Yeah, eventually we'll get, like, the lighting.
That'd be cool. So dope. Different angles. Be super dope.
Oh my god, get a second camera.
That'd be a game changer. For real.
Give a like look stage laugh.
Oh. Make sure you're all on point there. Yeah. We got a little mirror over there. Yo, but what were we talking about before we turned this on was Bubbles the Butcher and our love for him and what he does.
Yeah. Literally, like, definitely been a Bubbles fanboys over here.
Hell yeah.
When we were discussing, like, oh, here, we might as well do it together.
Right near the audio. Man, they make them crispy. Oh, yeah. Raspberry.
But what kind of, like, led us into Bubbles was, like, glass sales strategies.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a handful. The kind of the ones that we went through is obvious IG sales.
Mm-hmm.
Or I guess most of you guys, viewers or whatever, are probably going to be coming from.
Mm-hmm.
But then you have in-shop sales.
Mm-hmm.
Trade show sales.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn, what else are the options? Yeah, so you kind of nailing it already. Yeah, IG sales, shop sales, trade show sales. Oh, man, everything in between. In person is one weird one that's kind of more uncommon.
You could wrap trade show sales underneath, like Saturday markets or, small markets or like that in person.
Yeah.
So that would be kind of under that whole, upper body there.
Speaking of markets, Ghostwood Glass, shout out to Ghostwood Glass. They do a market, formerly
dope.
Spooky Glass.
Dope.
Yeah. So that's one option that people do. I don't know if I've ever really done. No, I did. I did it when I was like super rogue. It was actually a low point. Do we want to talk about a low point?
Let's go.
Yeah.
Dive into it. This is why we have starting points and then we dive deep. Let's go.
God. Yeah. So like when we found out that Haley was pregnant and we were going to have a kid. Also, Morgan Mama's name is Haley. I'm just going to rip that band-aid.
Yo!
Revealed.
Okay.
Shout out to Morgan Mama. Thank you for editing this.
Like, that's going to come up so much anyways.
I know.
It would have been so hard to try and hide that.
I've tried to keep it mysterious because it's like easier to just type H than spell out her name because it's spelled funny. So I just but anyways, found out Haley was pregnant and I was like, oh my God, I got to hustle. So kind of imperfectly started doing that more, which is, I feel like I need to lead up to this, but one day we'll go through like the focused history of the ups and downs. I've told the story so much that I don't know if it's meant to be today. Essentially, I was successful in some years and then dipped severely. So now we're talking about slightly coming back before having my kid and being like glassblower. So I needed to hustle, didn't know what to do. And we were at Saturday Market one time and we met this nice young gentleman who was selling his glass and he was like talkative and cool and good at what he did, sell stuff there regularly. And he was like, you should come out sometime, because I was doing engraving at that time and like barely making stuff to engrave. That was like the hard transition for me, was to like start making the stuff that I engraved on. That was the painful transition of like, I thought I was pretty nice with the engraving, but then the glass things that I would make would be like pale in comparison. So I had this uncomfortable like dynamic of like crappy glass thing, less crappy engraving. One might even say good engraving. So it was just like super confusing. But I was like, oh cool, this like nice person just invited me to like come out to the market. This is gonna be dope. And I saw him like he sold stuff while I was like talking to him. It was it was working.
Yeah.
So I was like,
one of those guys that have done it for like years and just know it, make it look easy.
Yeah. He was doing well, he's a hustler. It was cool. So I was like, oh cool, this might be an outlet for me to like make some stuff. And like Instagram wasn't popping then, so I was like, this is perfect. I'll have like an outlet in person. So I like hustle the next week and like make a bunch of pendants. I think I made like 10 or 15 of like the same ones. They were like pretty fucking engraved and dope. And like I made them as like consistent as I could. I made some with like faces. If you have one of these that's like it's like the shape of a leaf with a face, that's like probably one from this batch.
Yeah.
Because I didn't sell them at the market. I went there, I like put myself out there. I'm like, let's go, baby. You know, I don't like do a lot of shit in person, so I was like, all right, we got this. You know, it just takes me getting out there, and I go out there and I set up. Like, dude's there. He's super nice. He make a couple sales, bricked it, 0, straight 0, straight 0.
Oh, that's gotta hurt.
Dude, straight 0 hurts so fucking bad, so fucking bad. A lot of times people think that the lows are like low prices or low something, but lows can be 0.
Yeah,
it's just straight up 0.
Yeah,
we still had to buy lunch. Like I had to fucking like do something, and I remember just leaving like, oh god, it was so fucking hard. But I don't know. So that's my experience, my limited experience of selling in person at markets.
I mean, I've never done actual like sales like in person. I've had to run so many like booths for companies that I've worked for.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, I've done way too much different shit in my past, but I do a lot of teaching and tutoring as well. I have a degree in math. So I've had to, for like tutoring companies, go to, you know, whatever, you know, small fair or market or whatever, and sit there and try and like hustle fucking tutoring lessons and stuff. But you see, like you're saying, the glass guy, you see these guys that are so adept at it.
Yeah.
Who I'm sure have just done it for years and years, but they are just money at like grabbing some random person, knowing when to talk to them and actually like sell them something versus when to stand back and let the item make the sale for itself.
Yeah.
You know,
what a nuance. Wow. Yeah.
It's cool to be able to watch people who are very good at that.
Yeah.
That don't make it seem like sleazy and like, you know, because then there's the people that just try way too hard.
Yeah.
And they're like,
this guy was just right.
Immediately off-putting as soon as you walk up. You're just like, I don't want to buy anything from you.
Yeah.
Don't. Oh.
Yeah. Where I was mistaken is I had no pipes. I didn't make any pipes at that point. So it's just like a somewhat boring case. And like, it's like focus is more if you know, you know. So you have to kind of like know what it is to like appreciate it in some forms. So people were just coming in cold and it was just like not hitting. Not. But you bring up a good point that you've done many different things. What are some more of those things? As you mentioned, you have a math degree.
Yeah.
Tutor.
Math degree. Tutor. Currently a coach. I'm a swim coach. Aspiring glass artist.
Not just a swim coach though. We're talking about like higher than just your average level of swim coach. Because when I sort of like think about that, I think of like sort of maybe just a high school or even middle school, or I kind of go to like lessons. Kind of that's sort of where it seems to.
That's where we all start, to be honest.
Yeah.
So yeah, the team that I work for is definitely a higher level team. We had 3 of our 18 and unders go to the Olympic trials this past like 2021, because it was supposed to be 2020, but 2021. So very, very proud of the team that I work with. It's, you know, a good sized team. There's 6 or 7 coaches on staff. We have like 200 to 300 swimmers.
Insane.
Yeah.
You say that, but like the amount of room that would fill up, that many people, is like hard for me to picture.
Dude, our practices start like I'm an early morning coach, so I practice from 6 a.m. to like 8:30 sometimes, and then take a break during the day because they're at school, and then we like fill a pool between 3 p.m. and 8 p.m. Sometimes like 2:30 even, because some kids get out super early.
Gnarly.
Yeah. It's a whole world. It's a really fun whole world to like. Yeah. I don't want to say dive into because that's way too fucking cheesy.
Yeah, it's the Corny Dads Podcast. Yeah. We're diving into the world of swimming and swim coaching.
But no, I mean, we have like 12 and 14-year-olds that would beat the fucking pants off of like most high school swimmers.
Talk your shit.
Dude, it's fucking awesome.
Hell yeah.
No, I coach kids that are like way faster than I was at 18, and they're 13, 12 years old.
Not really.
Yeah, they're cool. It's a big commitment. It's a whole like most of these families are like dedicating their lives to like these things. Like, you know, one parent works at like Intel or Nike or whatever. So it's a side little thing. We're out here in the Portland, Oregon area. one of like the main employers out here is Intel.
I forget about that sometimes, but yeah.
Yeah. I'm originally from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, moved out here, and like having the reason I had family come out and visit, and like having them visit gives you like that bit of like cold water. You're like, oh yeah, these forests don't look like this anywhere else.
Dude, I'm so jaded in that. I have such a limited perspective. But yeah, it would be like mind blowing. Whenever I've traveled, it's like hell mind blowing. Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
you go anywhere else, and it's like, oh, you don't have immediate access to like everything.
Yeah.
Like my cousin and I just like randomly found a hike yesterday, and it ended up being a ridge hike where you were like half a mile, maybe a mile from Mount Hood, and it was just a ridge hike, so you had open, clear views of Mount Hood.
Damn.
For like
what was it
solid
called?
points.
Tom, Dick, and Harry?
No, it was
done a lot of them.
Muddy, like Bald Mountain to Muddy Creek.
No, it makes me so ungrateful, or feel so ungrateful, because I low-key like hate that shit. My parents forced me to do all those hikes as a kid. So now I'm like, yeah, forest and mountains? Fuck the forest and mountains. They're fucking annoying. It's so fucking annoying, but whatever.
Man, yeah, no, the forests and mountains are wild out here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get into some like old growth forest out here and whatnot, but yeah.
Yeah. We got way off topic.
Big time. I was like, while talking, I was trying to like scale it back. It was like, fuck.
Back to Intel parents. Which, side note,
yeah.
It makes me realize that no matter how successful you are, you can choose to make your life hard.
Oh, yeah.
So, like,
are you kidding me?
So, like, you got a good career at Intel. Your wife's taken care of. She's got a good career doing something else. What are we going to do? Let's do a challenging swimming professional thing.
Yeah, like, let's put our kids into that shit. Dude, I have straight up families. So, okay, one family that I absolutely love, Dad, I'm not quite sure. I know he's at Intel something, so some sort of manager of managers. But we have like out here, it's not just like, an Intel store, like Intel factories, like they are manufacturing chips, and it is like more than an entire town's worth of an area of buildings, and they're constantly building more and more and more.
Yeah, it's a campus.
Yeah, legit.
Just like Nike. It's
like you'll meet campus. Like I've had friends that are chefs that work in restaurants inside of the Intel campus, where like people just come up and can like order food. They don't pay for it. It's just part of being like inside and part of like the community there.
My dad used to work at a company like that. Unshout out to Tektronix. He was laid off in the financial crisis. Worked there for 15 years. Yeah, so Tektronix was like a competitor with Xerox, making stuff that's probably outdated now unless they've adapted to the current market. But there's a few like campuses like that. Big one's Nike too.
Yeah,
which I'm sure some
Nike headquarters are like they don't do any manufacturing for Nike. We know they do that in China.
Yeah. Shout out to Guangdong. Guangdong is the place in China where they make all the shit. What is being filmed on? Probably Guangdong.
Yeah.
What we're sitting on? Probably Guangdong. Shout out to Guangdong.
Nike has a dope ass campus.
Oh, it's so dope.
You're not allowed to like drive on that shit. You're not allowed to like get even close to entering that shit.
Yeah, you can run around it.
You can do the blocks around the outside of it. But you can like go inside to where like all the dope buildings and stuff are.
No. Well, you can if you're doing a cross-country race.
Oh, nice.
Every year they have Battle at the Border where Washington and Oregon meets. And it's actually kind of dope. They have like, I don't know, picture like a T, the letter T, and it's like at the top of the T is like Oregon and Washington, and they run at each other in the beginning of the race and then go down the T.
Shut up.
It's lit.
That's wild.
It's lit. And it's on Nike campus.
That's dope. That is so dope.
It's fucking dope. Yeah. I was like watching it or something because I was like JV, so it was like it's like the best kids.
Yeah.
Kids who do like the 15 minute fucking 5Ks.
Let's go.
Man.
What's up?
Yeah.
1601 fastest 5K. What's up?
Dude, fuck you, man. Fuck. I know I got sub 20, but that ain't shit. 16 is crazy. Maybe I got 18, maybe.
See, that's fast. That's fast.
It's fast enough to be like, I'm physically able to do this.
Dude, you're running under 7-minute miles.
Yeah.
Like you're running like mid 6:30s, like low 6s.
I remember one time I did a 5:30 on the first one.
What's up?
But I think maybe that was when I got close to 18 or something. Because that would be like, let me do 6:30 next one, something like that.
Yeah.
We both ran cross country.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. Shout out fucking farriers.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you had these like Intel dad, like to fucking really wind it back.
God damn.
Yeah. You had these Intel dads, and then mom is awesome. She swims on my master's team, volunteers, and is a like licensed deck referee. So that's kind of a thing. Like, just for meets to run, you need so many like parent volunteers and help and whatnot.
Damn.
So like every single like deck ref, like you need at least like 20 odd deck refs to run a meet sometimes, because they have to be at certain points around the pool. So she's a deck ref, so she volunteers, and then her kids swim on my swim team. Damn. So the kids swim the like kids swim team. So like, dude, I see like the mom in the morning, see son like right after her sometimes, and then daughter comes afternoons.
That's crazy.
That's their life, man.
Yeah, it's a high level of integration into your life.
Yeah.
You're thinking about that a lot.
I know these families.
Damn. Crazy.
Yeah. It's cool. It's fun. I mean, it's a lot of fun.
It's a lot of commitment from them and you. So that being in your position, then it's like, well, if you guys are going to commit this hard, I better bring the heat, because you guys are super committed to what you're doing.
Dude, remember the first time you have a child look at you and go, "You're late, Coach Nick." Dude, that happened like my second or first year of coaching. And like I was even like freaking warm up started like 7:45. I'm there at 7:30 and she's like, "You're late." And I was like, all right, well that means like I have to literally walk in before any other kid walks in this door. So it is like a rule of thumb for me, 30 minutes before practice, or like 20 minutes before practice, 40 minutes to an hour before a meet.
Damn.
I'll sit in the parking lot rather than freaking show up and have some little kids being like, "We are waiting on you." Yeah. Like, yo, you can't do that.
Damn. So that takes a pretty high level of commitment and responsibility. And it seems like might be your most committed and responsible job that you've held.
By far. But if you would ask me what I do, I'm a swim coach. Yeah. But I also have a math degree, so I've tutored, I've taught in classroom. I worked at a summer camp for 5 years. Mm-hmm. Shout out Island Lake Camp. Got my my 5-year summer jacket there. Met my wife there. Met a lot of my really good lifelong friends there. Shout out summer camp. Damn. That'll be a whole nother episode that I'll talk way too much during.
For real. For real. We need that though. Yeah. That's this formative part of your life that's like super formed you, and I think that sort of got you on track to be a coach, being a leader, leading people and being able to
just hanging out with kids, talking to kids, hanging out with them. It's cool stuff though.
What was your favorite overall though that you've been a part of that you've
summer camp? Yo, seriously, summer camp.
Yeah,
it's one of those, I'm sure we have all, even like viewers and you have all had that thing where you look back with like very rose-colored glasses and go, "Oh, I would love to, go back or like do that again, or be in that moment again and like try and recreate that." So like with summer camp, it's like, oh, I could have a chance. Like I could easily go back.
Yeah.
Like I have enough credentials right now that I would easily run their entire waterfront area.
Yeah.
Easily. But you can't recreate those moments.
No.
You can't go back to those moments.
Yeah.
The people that were around there, the friends that you made, the situation that you were in.
It's the context that makes it feel like that.
Yeah.
More than the actions or the specific things. Yeah.
But that shit was super fun.
Hell yeah.
Dude, straight like 2.5 months of like you are the most responsible person. Like, so and you're like mid-20s.
Okay, I was thinking late teens, early 20s.
But late teens, early 20s, and you're the responsible person.
That's lit.
Yeah. It's cool. You're in the middle of the fucking woods. Yeah. There's people from all over the world. There was 200 counselors. So people from all over the world, and you're dealing with like rich-ass Manhattan Jewish kids. That's like parents are like VPs of major corporations.
Damn.
Yeah. It is dope.
Damn.
It is super dope. So I guess through like a lot of my careers, I'm very used to like dealing with kind of high performing families.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
it's a cool, like, we are definitely, I don't know, like, I don't consider my family a high performing family at all, but like, it's very, very cool to like see that world and
Yeah.
see like just how they work and operate.
Yeah.
Like for one of these moms, like to cycle back and kind of bring it full circle, to see like these moms who that like in a different family, she has 3 boys. One of them I've coached since he was 10, so I know, like, I've known these kids since they were like 6, 8, and 10. Damn. And they are 18, 16, and 14. Yeah, that's actually their ages. I nailed it. But like this mom, and like they do both soccer and swimming, and dad works. So she is straight up just like from morning till evening game planning and strategizing. How am I going to feed this kid, get him from there to there, pick up that kid, get them from that one to that one, hopefully have enough money to get that kid a car so that he can start driving someplace. Dad can maybe pick up sometimes, but for the most part, he is working 24/7.
See, and that's closer to what I come from. And you know what? From the kid's perspective, you know what? Fucking sucks. It's fucking awful. It's the worst shit ever. Fuck that shit. It's
the best.
Dude, that's what I was doing. It was have a sport every season, do Boy Scouts that you hate, and then do like once you're 15, get a job to like get some cash to do something you like. Like, dude, it was fucked up.
Just to jump in here, these kids love it. They really enjoy it. Like
they love it. Yeah,
they trust me. Like, I have deep conversations with these kids. Yeah. They do love swimming. They are able to quit and do anything at any point in time. But that's just perspective. It's just different. It's different families, different. Yeah.
And that's probably coming from a generous spot. They probably do love swimming, but it's the lifestyle surrounding it and the no days off that is utterly like unbearable as a child.
Yeah.
Like when you like go through your whole fucking like elementary, middle, and high school, and you realize like how few Saturdays you've like chilled, and then you talk to people and they're like, yeah, I was just like eat cereal and watch cartoons on Saturdays. You're like, fuck you, bitch, what the fuck are you talking about? What? Like, I have to like do shit. Like, dude, it made me so pissed to have to do shit all the time. If it wasn't sports, it was Boy Scouts. If it wasn't those, it was hiking. I never got to just like chill. And then I got old, and I'm like, I'm so fucking mad at this. I hate this. Like,
it sounds like my childhood, but it was like completely different perspective.
Yeah,
it's like it was dope. We went hiking.
Somehow,
but it's serious. That I think that this right here is why you and I decided to start this whole podcast.
Yeah. We take a break every 25 minutes here at the Corny Dads Podcast, and this break is sponsored by Very Fast. You know what? I'm wearing it.
Yo.
Let's go. My mom started making stuff for me again, and she got super excited and made me a bunch of pocket tees and shoulder bags. Look at that. Fits a coach. So this break is brought to you by Very Fast.
You can fit your mini rigs in it?
Oh. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And some terps, whatever you need.
And some terps. You can fit anything you need in it. Oh. And 1,000 FAF points.
Yeah, we'll get into that shit later. But follow Very Fast on Instagram. Boom. Pictures. Link.
Click here. Click there. Let's see if Mama can figure that out. Okay. Get into some really good shit. Okay. So we were... So you're saying other parents, or your parents were talking shit and actually pulling you away from the connections that you were making with kids.
Yeah, so like it was never about like the people and enjoying the people. It was about completing the tasks and achieving some sort of like measurable thing. It was always about measurable outcomes.
So I think that's a really like important note to hit, because it was never about like the success of whatever you were doing.
Right. Which it proves there's lots of value to those things to do. Sports, Boy Scouts, all that. Yeah. There's like whole worlds of value you can grow into, and it can be like extremely fulfilling and dope if you just like have the right perspective on it.
Yeah.
But I was always taught like people are bad, people are scary, don't trust people, and it was just like really uncomfortable always to like But then I was around a ton of people. So yeah, I just grew up like hating that shit because the main thing was like everyone else was coming there to connect with everyone, and I felt completely alienated from like connecting. So I was like, I'm just gonna do the thing. So I was like a weird overachiever at the thing, but like completely empty at like the real meat of it, which is like the connection and the like relationship part of it.
It's not uncommon. Like being a coach for way too long at this point, almost like 18 years. It's rare. You know, it's not like you're not. That's not the majority of the kids that are there. The majority of the kids that are there, they're running around having a good time, like making friendships. But like, you will see frequently, you know, there's those outlier kids who like they're dominating. They might make a connection with the coach or whatever. But then you're like, why aren't you talking to Jimmy? Like, why don't you talk or hang out with any of the other kids?
Yeah, dude, that was me playing lacrosse. I played the fuck out of lacrosse. Like, I would hit the wall so much, get so fucking good at the stick skills. And then, like, in games, I had, like, a ridiculous streak of, like, scoring every game. So I just, like, would not accept anything less than, like, scoring every fucking game. Because I was just so, like, fucked up in the head, whatever. So, like, yeah, that sucks to be around for everyone.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
It's tough.
It's like not fun for me, and it's even less fun for everyone else involved because it's just like it's a weird person who like we can tell you like hate yourself, but kind of like also like think you're the best. It's like,
dude, I've had
really
like,
bad.
Some kids who like, you know, they one word answers yes, no, you know, okay, like they never ask any questions. They like top performers in the squad, like crushing it. And we're like looking at one kid and being like, well, like, what do you think? I think the more that I coach, like kind of one of the big caveats is not prescribing the same coaching to every single person.
Takes a lot of skill from your perspective because then you've got to learn each kid. You've got to learn different personalities, techniques.
And then they're talking about physiology now as well, like. You can't coach if like I have a 13-year-old who is like it's like 5'10" or something. Like I swear to like he's not over 6 foot because I'm not quite staring him in the eye, but he is so freaking tall. And he's like 13. Slammed with puberty. He has this really shitty little mustache. He stinks to high hell.
Shout out to this guy.
Yeah, shout out. I'm not like we won't name names, but shout out to this kid. He's awesome. But then I also have a 13-year-old who is like looks like he might be 10.
Trippy.
Like he is 5'3", 5'2", or whatever. Super slim little build. And he's the super little quiet one. Okay. So like to try and tell like this guy who's like 5'2" or 5'3", or even like to tell this 5'10" kid to try and do something this little guy can do. This little guy is like tight little muscular package. Yeah. This 13-year-old who got hit with puberty, like he just got that big. He can't figure out where his freaking hands and his elbow are. So like to be like, no, you have to enter like this. Like, no, I'm just trying to get him to put his hand in front of his head.
Yeah, damn. So you gotta be really mindful of the differences in each kid and like what they respond to.
So now I'm looking at this. So now I'm looking at this like shorter, younger kid and being like, okay, so like, what does this feel like? And like, dude, he knows yes and no answers. He does not know like what is my opinion answers. And like after like kind of hitting my head against the wall for like 3 days of practice, trying to like just like what about this? Like what is going on here? Finally, like I had like enough appropriate time to just like chat with him on the side of the pool deck and be like, has anyone ever just like asked you what your opinion is on this stuff?
Yeah.
He's like, nope. I was like, your opinion, Matt. Like I'm getting all like choked up because I'm a freaking emotional dude with my emotions like right underneath the surface of my skin.
Yeah.
Like getting all choked up. Like your emotions matter. Your opinion matters.
That's like a language that is foreign.
Dude, you can see he had no clue. Like no one had ever said this to him in his 13 years of existence on this planet. Yeah. It has been do this, do that, do this, do that. It has never been like, well, what's up? What do you think?
Why do you think I get so fucking obsessed about little scribbling on little fucking things? Dude, this is like my choice. that's why I'm just hyper like love it.
Yeah.
Or like have such a like now I have to like let go of it a little. It's just like it's living on its own now. Like that's why I was just like, oh, I love this shit so much because I got to choose. Why do you think I do so many individual things? Because I get to choose that many things. I get to make all those choices, and I fucking do it. I choose those things. You know how problematic this shit is? Like, it's so bad.
When did you start engraving? Like, do you remember, like, first time you engraved?
Yeah, yeah. It was when, like, things were tapering off a little from my high heights. I had high heights in 2015 and 2016 selling hat pins and merch and stuff on a website, so that's what I'm referring to. And during that, I was scooping a lot of heady glass, and I started to, like, maybe I saw Trevi metal first, or I kind of want to say it wasn't Trevi metal, and I saw it like just kind of like on fancy old lady stuff. I kind of feel like that was a close enough influence also. Like it certainly wasn't like I see engraving on heady glass and that's it. It was more like I think you can do it, and shortly after then maybe saw that it was applicable to heady glass. But I remember like YouTubing how to engrave glass, and if you look that up, there's some like ratchet things where like old ladies and stuff, they engrave dry. They don't use water drip.
Yeah.
So they got like dust everywhere and shit, and it's hella weird. No, so I like looked it up, found out it was like possible in a household setup. I had hella money at the time, so I was like, let's figure this out. And I got like the whole setup to do it, or like a kind of shitty setup to do it because I didn't know what was the best to get. And I remember just getting a plate out of my cupboard, like just a plate.
Yeah.
And just like engraving on it.
No shit.
I think I might have gotten rid of it, but like for a long ass time, I had a plate that like on the bottom of it had like a little shitty face on it because I just like didn't know.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not just
going to ceramics, just like fuck it.
I don't know, like yeah,
dude, that's dope though.
Like dust went everywhere.
Yeah,
like, yeah, that was interesting for sure. Yeah.
So then, when did you like? Do you remember like first collab then, where you actually had an artist piece that was meant for engraving that you engraved?
I don't know. I think what happened was shortly after I was doing all that, everything dipped severely, and I had many less resources, and different things happened where it was just a lot more of a restricted life. So I was like, not as like could go out and get whatever I wanted. And I think if I had to think like what it was, I think I kind of like reached out to a couple people, just like, oh no, I think the first piece is coming back. I think it was Roy.
Yeah.
So Roy, right as I was going,
Royco Glass, shout out
to Royco Glass, tagged right there. Right as I was going down, old boy Roy, he was going up. So it's this interesting point where like Roy had been following me and he was supportive and like awesome, and like I started to dip. He remained supportive and awesome as he always has. He's always been super encouraging and awesome and just a great person. So like I was starting to dip, he stayed with me, and then he started to rise, and we like met at a weird point where like his shit was going up, my shit was going down.
No shit.
And I like traded him something, probably shirts or paint. I think shirts or paintings, maybe one or the other, maybe both, for like some blank shit to carve on. Because at a certain point, after fucking around with like, I remember before that I fucked around with just pint glasses and like things to like scratch on. But I was like, I want to get into heady glass, and not knowing about glass, I kind of thought that like that type of glass had some special quality to it that needed to be heady glass to feel how it felt.
Yeah.
It's all just glass. If you guys want to engrave, glass is glass is glass. You should definitely engrave whatever you feel like. But I was really like, oh, I need to get like something from an artist to like engrave. So he sent me like some blank pendants, and shout out to, man, you guys scooping those pendants back in the day. I gave a couple away. sold a couple for the low, just like single color disc pendants from Roy. Not even pillows. I think this was before the pillows.
Could you imagine? What is he like? Anyone has those.
If
you have those, like send pictures, tag, whatever. Yeah, that would be fucking dope to see, like fucking Roy Scope and Focus.
Yeah.
Like original little tablets.
Yeah. He was super encouraging and supportive and continued to send a couple things like at that super early time, even like a functional or two. And since his work was going up, my work was like okay. I at least had a good reputation for like making things that are focused. So like it was enough to be like we could sell a couple pieces, and that was pretty cool. So I think Roy was probably the first. But then I tried to find some other connections like that and never really hit. Like, whenever you're seeking it out, that's been a theme of my life. Whenever you're seeking it out, it's a little less organic. Yeah. You know, when I was like looking for those things, it was less likely to happen, and it was few and far between of like people here and there that would like send a piece or something for me to engrave on. But that's sort of like how that started.
There's something to be said about the hustle mindset and like, really getting after it and whatnot. But something like that where you're trying to make like because you still speak very, very highly of Roy. You've always spoke super highly of Roy. Yeah. So something like that needs to be a bit more organic than like trying to like get out there and find something like that.
Yeah. So then I got frustrated with all that, and I was like, wow, this is like prohibitively difficult to sustain engraving on shit with relying on other people to make said shit. So I just became more and more frustrated, and like took years of just kind of like doing okay with it, doing some pieces, still painting, doing a lot of clothes and stuff. And like I got fed up with it and just kind of like eventually I started making my own pendants. Like when we moved in to my mother-in-law's house, I saw she had a shed in the back, and I was like pushing it. I was like, can I blow glass in that shed? And shout out to Knit Yo Mama. She was like, yup. So that in like 2018, early 2019, I think early 2019 was when I was like, ooh, I have a chance at like making some shit. So I set up there and began to like make shit. But it was also at a time where I like was kind of like taking care of us with what I was making. Which, looking back on it, it would have been easier and less stressful to grow it had I just fully given it time to grow. But I was really the whole time trying to like make rent and bills off of this like thing that I was super new to. I don't recommend that. If you guys are super new to a thing, I do not recommend committing to making your rent and bills off of said thing.
As an artist, as a creator,
it's so uncomfortable. It just gave very little room for error. It was not conducive to the process. So I mean, if I had a different mind state, I'm sure I could have like made it happen. But I was just like really like wanting each little thing to work, and they weren't. they fucking weren't.
Yeah, that was a little stressful.
Oh yeah, it's just like pendants coming out hella worky and shit. But then like engraving the fuck out of them because I knew I was like kind of nice with that. That was the thing for a while. And thank you to everyone who supported. If you have like an older pendant that has like a fuck ton of engraving, or a dabber that has a fuck ton of engraving, shout out to you guys. You supported me at a time when I really needed it. So thank you. So yeah. So that was kind of how that went. And then I sort of like foot off the gas for a little bit because I got like just really frustrated with it. It was so frustrating to try to make stuff and like see what was possible and see what was possible with you. It's just like so hard to see the huge difference in what is possible to be made and what you could make.
I hear that.
Yeah.
You hear that big time right now.
Right.
Yep.
It's just real. Yeah.
Even just like simple stuff.
Yeah. So I kind of like stopped doing that, and I've always been like into clothing and shit, and pretty much sustained making clothing for the past 10 or 12 years with some strong variations in like how much or how complicated or whatever. Basically, I've been doing it for that long, and I just started to do that more, and then for a year or two sustained everything close to exclusively off of clothing and painting. Like definitely like some months were probably not anything glass, or maybe like one or two things, and like some collabs here and there, but like very minimal. And then what happened? It just got, I think it got like so hard. We like moved into our own spot, and then beginning of 2020, like before everything went down, it was like got like hella beat on with everything in life, and like things, not things breaking, but like things going wrong, owing money for shit that you didn't expect, and just like everything going really crazy. And I kind of broke through it, and I was like, okay, I just need to like make shitty rigs. So I started doing that, and I made little like clear ones, and I was like, yo, I can do this. And then that kind of like was the jump off. And then when everything went down in March 2020, then I was like, there's no way I'm going down like this. So I like buckled in really strong and like actually made it happen, and that's how the Benji was birthed, and that's how like got us here. Yeah. Damn.
It's a nice little history.
Yeah, the engraving history, I haven't really dove in that much, but yeah. And then I had like a sour taste in my mouth for engraving at that point, because I was like, I have like balled out so many things with like little fucking engraving for so many hours, hurting my hands, doing like crazy shit, not getting paid that much for it. So I was like, salt on it. I'm not gonna lie, you know.
There was a long time where you like were not engraving stuff. Yeah. Where like it was like really few and far between that you'd throw like a band of caramel on something and like carve it out.
Yeah. In the back of my mind, like I knew it was the dope shit, but like it was so pained, that relationship with it was just like, it just felt like struggle, because I had like struggled doing it for so long that I was like, oh, this shit is like, I don't know.
So, but now for any of you that like follow closely on Instagram or whatever, I'm sure you're noticing now getting more into it.
Yep. Kind of came full circle, and I was like, if I like, I'm not perfect, but if I take some of the ego out of it, some of the like, I need things to be like the way I want them, if I take some of that out of it, it's an effective way of getting my little like things I like out into the world. So it's a great way of like decorating stuff, which is essentially what I do. I've always thought that's an interesting way of describing what I do. I just like decorating.
You're decorating?
I like that. I don't know.
I think if you're all right with it, I think it's a great way of saying it.
Yeah, it's like lighthearted, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's when you take the ego out of it.
Yeah.
Kind of like myself with coaching. I don't like to immediately start off with, you know, I coach a high level experience. Like, it's much easier just to say, I'm a swim coach.
Yeah.
Hey, you decorate glass. That sounds so bad.
Right. I know. But like people who you like meet in the world and like who wonder what you do, like they so rarely give two fucks at all, or like willing to give any credit, that like I've gotten so used to it. It's like there's no need. It's just a complete waste of energy to like try to build yourself up in too much of a way, because people are just like, yeah, I think you're probably broke. Like you know,
it's because they're going to be more interested in what they got going on.
Yeah,
like everyone else. Like ourselves. You know?
Yeah. But yeah. Since I've kind of like worked that back end of it, it's been freeing, because now if I like give a fuck less about engraving, it's dope. It's like, I think it's cool. I can get cool detail and like make the little things that I like to make and like draw cool pictures on it. So it's dope. It isn't dope if you need it to be like way more expensive than it is. That like takes away a lot from it. So I've had to work on that. So that's where we're at now. I'm engraving more. Yeah.
It's been, I really like because you've worked so long with just the glass and just colors and just clears, that the skill has come around to where you can make the accents really
like meaningful instead of like, get it.
So these are I mean, these are just indicative of what I'm talking about. Anything now, still focusing on your face.
It's all good.
There we are. So, knowing where that band goes, how to put that band in there, and then decorate it. The way that you decorate it it's just leaps and bounds from where you were.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, that's definitely what I dreamed of doing. Like when I started the journey of engraving, I was like, this is dope. This is a killer accent for things, or like, yeah. But yeah, it was. If you blow glass, you know that it takes a while to get to make anything okay. So like, that was such a painful process. But no, then when I revisited it, sort of, you kind of like, I don't know, how it's been for me is like, you kind of figure something in art out and go hard with it for a little bit, and then sort of like reapply your perspective to it. You can kind of like learn what you've been doing. But when you do it for a living, it's much different than doing it as a hobby, as Bubbles the Butcher is described. I was really freeing to hear him describe that. You kind of like have no choice but to like buckle down at some point and like work with things that work. If you're going to survive and provide off of it, you got to like make it happen. But what that means is you kind of like stay zoomed in for a while, and unless you like choose to pull back sometimes, and then that can like bring a whole new perspective, and you can realize like what you've been doing and like play with the pieces a little more. So that was what it was like. Sort of this whole year I've been like zooming out and trying things that I used to try, and I'm like, whoa, it feels way different.
Like, this is way easier.
Fuck. Yeah, like I can actually make something like nice in this shape or whatever. And that's like complete game changer. And that made coming back to engraving like totally worth it and dope, because I could make relatively good things compared to what I made before, and I could decorate them, and like it felt good instead of that like I felt like my engraving was pretty good and my gloss was pretty bad. That shit was so hard. Yeah. So now I feel like it's closer to just even, which is dope. I can grow if it's even. It's like safe to slow grow if it's even. But if it's always imbalanced, it's not really like...
Even engraving, your engraving has come a long way.
Thanks.
Because seeing the difference between the hammer pipe and the small rig, that you can see you chose two different styles there. Yeah, with more space and then fully covered in. Yeah. Even that shows your skill improving and moving up.
Hell yeah. When I first started doing the pattern work, it was a lot of just like filling things up. That was a good little history on engraving. Epic fail, all thrown into one.
I'm happy that's only happened on episode 2.
Yeah.
Like that makes it come on.
Yeah, when we get the major sponsor deals, we're gonna have to man. Think
about when Posy Vibes decides to finally sponsor a few of us.
Yeah. Let's go. Shout out Positively Vibe. Yeah, we'll give them a free little plug here. Go follow Positively Vibe. They are a great head shop with some of the dopest glass out of any shops. Yeah. Also, superior videography and customer service. They do a great work. Go follow Positively Vibe.
Yeah. Had nothing but awesome experiences with the owner and with your dealings with them on a professional level too. It's been super. That's to dive into that a little bit. Yeah, that's been a really cool world to like kind of enter and see. I think we mentioned on the last podcast, I started out my kind of retail world with Labyrinth Seed Company, working and doing some shipping and stuff for them, and then to see